In today's video, we're taking a look at how to install a smart Wi-Fi dimmer switch, easy and simple. It's so easy, anyone could do everything that we use on the video. We're gonna leave a link on the description. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe. That does help us out a lot. Thank you. So you woke up today and turning on the light and turning off the light is in your mind. Dimming it once in a while to get the mood right is also in the top list. Don't worry, here at the StatUpBox team, we've got your back. A few states away, but a back is a back. And today we're looking at the TP-Link Casa Smart Wi-Fi dimmer switch HS220 that you don't need any hub for. It works with 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi and also works with Alexa and Google Home. But no matter if you use this switch or another brand or a different type of switch, the technique will be the same. And it is compatible with Android and iOS devices. For this particular switch, you are going to need a neutral wire. If for your particular switch you don't, then you would just skip that step. And inside the box, we have the switch dimmer, one wall plate, two wire nuts, a wire label sheet, two screws, and lastly, barbecue paper. I mean your owner's manual or quick installation guide barbecue paper. We're gonna notice right out the box that we have a neutral wire, which is the white one, and we have a ground wire, which is the green one, and to be able to connect our live wire is a screw-in system instead of a backstab method. If in your case you have a backstab method, then the only difference would be that you would insert the wire on the hole provided. And now that we filled your brain with data, we're ready to start. The first thing that you want to verify that you have the correct home, that you have the correct switch, and lastly, to live another day, we want to make sure that we turn off the breaker for that particular switch. We're going to start by removing our wall plate. We're going to use the ancient technique of lefty loosey, righty tighty, and we want to go ahead and save the screws because with today's prices, screws are valuable. And before taking a step forward, we want to confirm that we don't have any electricity on our work area. And for that, we're going to use a non-contact voltage detector to save us once again. We're going to go ahead and proceed to remove the two screws that hold the switch in place. And remember, we want to use the ancient technique passed down generation to generation of lefty loosey, righty tighty. And if you notice, in this particular system, we do have two black wires, a hot and load wire, or lined and load. Instead of a hot wire and a negative one, the whole purpose of a light switch is to interrupt electricity from going to your light bulb or desired system. We're going to have a ground wire, which is the bare copper one. And if we notice on the back, using a wire nut, we have two white ones wrapped together, which are our neutral wires. And now that we dived on the world of electricity, we're ready for the next step, and that is a fork on the road. You can choose if you have enough wire just to cut the wires off the light switch, or how we're gonna do, we're gonna loosen the screws to have access to the wires. Once loosened, they should come out with ease. And remember, usually to the left you loosen and to the right you tighten. For the ground wire, you might need to use some needle nose pliers to unwrap it from the screw terminal. And now you done it. You broke your home again. And now, depending if you cut your wires or you just unwrap them from the screw, what we're going to do is prepare them before the assembly. So if you unwrap them, then we want to straighten them. But also, if you have enough wire, you can cut them and re-strip them to the desired or needed length. You also want to do that if you cut the wire previously to remove the switch. And to stay on the same mode of preparing before the installation, we're going to loosen the screws on the smart switch so it can have the greatest night of its life. I mean, wrong video. So we can introduce the wires. So no matter how I say it, it seems this video is going to get rated R. Next, we're going to go ahead and measure how much exposed wire we need, and we can compare that with the smart switch or verify with our barbecue paper, I mean our owner's manual, or in some cases some electrical outlets or switches have the measurement stamped on its body. Usually the general average is from 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch, sometimes all the way up to 1 inch, depending your particular electrical system. For this particular switch, we have to verify which of the two wires is our line and which one is our load. If you know which one of the wires is which, you are ahead of the curve. But let's say if you don't, with a lot of precaution, we want to separate both wires wires and then turning on our breaker and using our non-contact voltage detector, we can verify which of the lines is our hot wire. Once we figure that out, then that would become our line wire, the one that is hot. So that means for this particular device, if we see on the back, it says line at the bottom and load at the top, meaning as it says, we're going to place our line at the bottom and our load at the top. And what we're basically going to do, we're going to insert our wire on one of the both sides of the tab, to the left of the screw or to the right of the screw or to the top or the bottom. And then once we notice the exposed wire, it's completely inside the tab, we can go ahead and tighten. Meanwhile, we hold the wire in place so it won't move. And once we tighten, we do want to pull the wire a little bit just to make sure that it's tightly in there. Then we want to go ahead and repeat the same process for the other wire. Always remember, pull the wire a little bit just to make sure that it's tightly in there. And remember, the goal is that once you insert the wire, you don't want to have any of the sleeve inside the tab or too much exposed wire outside of the tab as well. Now we can move on to our ground wire, which is our green wire on the smart device, and our bare copper wire coming from the home. So we're basically placing both wires together on a straight line parallel to each other, then taking our wire nut and tightening until we feel it tight. If you haven't straightened your ground wire, you want to go ahead and do that before. And at the end, we want to pull the wire a little bit just to make sure that it's tightly in there. And now lastly, we have our neutral wire, which the one coming from the home are the two white ones that are together using the wire nut. And on the smart device, it is the white wire. And we're basically going to use the same technique. We go ahead first and remove the wire nut from the two neutral wires from the home, and we're gonna basically add our third wire, which is the white wire coming from the smart device, straighten all three parallel tight together, and just like last night, tighten all three down using the wire nut. And remember, you always want to pull at the end to verify that it is tightly in there. And now, depending on your location, state, county, country, province, or home, the rules, regulations that exist, in our case, as an extra precaution, safety measure, ain't going nowhere technique, we're gonna wrap a little bit of electrical tape around only on our connections that have a wire nut. And this is going to give us extra security once we push them all inside the electrical box. Depending on your codes and regulations of your location, this might be an optional step. Once ready, what we're going to do is push all the wires inside the electrical box, make sure that our switch is straight, both buttons pointing to the top, and insert it in there. Yes, this R-rated video has not finished. And finally, we're going to take our two provided screws and screw our switch to the wall. And remember, the ancient technique passed down generation to generation of lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. And now you're almost there. We're going to take our wall plate. In this particular case, is a click-on wall plate. So just by pushing it in, it should be done. We can go ahead and turn on the breaker for that particular light switch and test our system. And now you've done it. You can use your manual hands and press the button to dim the light or turn it on or off, or depending on your smart device, the particular app that it uses to use the same function. You want to go ahead and download that, set it up, and you should be ready to go. Now you can pat yourself on the back for a job well done. You become Raiden, but with the smart features. Don't forget, if you liked the video, please give us a thumbs up. That really helps. If you have any questions, place them in the comment section below. Either someone on the StatUpBox team or someone on the YouTube community can help you out with an answer. Don't forget to subscribe, follow us on social media. Thank you for watching, and here's a link to our latest video.